Okay, now if I go back to this brush, my 1-inch scenery brush, I'm just going to kind of push those in a little bit, and then we're going to come back and highlight. The highlighting is going to be quite dramatic on this. So I just kind of bury them in just enough so they look like they're sitting back into the tree like they should. Okay, I'm going to wipe this brush off, and I'm going to come back with some nice highlight colors. So I'm literally just going to pull the paint out of this. I really don't have to wash it. If you are more of a brush washer than I am, that is fine. There's no shame in that, but I know I can get what I want without having to stop to wash it, because I want some green in it anyway, so whatever residual green I got left is going to be good. I'm going to take white, titanium white, a little bit of this emerald green I've had sitting here, a little bit of the sap green. I'm going to build this up slowly. I'm not going to lay all my cards on the table at once. I want to come back and be able to re-highlight, but I'm just basically trying to get a nice highlighted leaf color in my mind that's something that looks like leaves with sunshine hitting them. And sometimes I go a little bit beyond reality and I just use a brighter color that you might not see in nature, just in the interest of the color. Like I said, painting is all about the color. So we already said the light was coming from this direction. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of this highlighted color. I'm doing the same exact thing as I did before. If you've never used one of these angle brushes, you're really going to appreciate this right here. You won't know it until you try it, but these things work great for this. That's why I wanted that bevel on there. Don't highlight the whole tree. Let some of that dark show through. The dark looks like the shadowed parts within the interior of the tree, which gives it the depth. If you just turn the whole tree into nothing but a light green tree, you have no depth again. But see, if I don't overdo it, I got lights and darks in it. I'm going to go lighter yet, too. This is more or less what I'm considering to be a mid-tone. See, this will give you a really good lesson on how to do deciduous trees and foliage. Now, if I was doing a fall scene, I would simply use maybe some burnt sienna and some of the Cad Red Light from my product line, which are more on the orange family. I could use some yellow ochre, some Cad Yellow Pale. I would just use autumn colors. Okay, now I'll put a little bit of this down in here and just kind of break the land up a little bit. I just want it to look like it's got some lights and darks and some depth in it. I'm going to come back momentarily and just add a little bit brighter highlight here and there. Okay. Now see, doesn't that look easy? It is easy. It's just a little bit of practice and using the right tools that are designed for the job. Okay, now I'm going to come back. I'm going to wipe this brush off one more time. I'm going to come back and use something lighter and a little more yellowy, more sunshiny, as it were. So I'm going to take titanium white, a little yellow, Cad Yellow Pale. I'll add a little bit of my clear medium to that. Now see, each layer I'm putting on, I have to kind of thin the next one down. So I'm going to actually thin this one down a little more than the previous highlight that I had. If it gets to the point where the clear isn't quite going to thin it down enough, because the clear will only thin it down so far, if it gets to the point where that won't do it, I can add paint thinner, a couple drops of paint thinner. I just dip the brush in on the corner and get a couple of drops. That will thin it down more so than what the clear even will. Okay, so I'm just going to really put some brighter highlights on some of this. That's the key word, some of it. Don't overdo it. These bevel edge canvases come in a lot of sizes. We have 15 different sizes ranging from 8 by 10 to 30 by 40. So you get your hands on some of those nice big ones. You can do some nice sofa-sized paintings on these. These look great when they're on the wall. The nice part is you don't have to frame them. They look very three-dimensional, very modern looking, totally unique. And everybody's talking about these canvases right now. They're very, very nice. I'm proud to be able to offer these to you. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of this and I'll sprinkle a little bit of this lighter yellow down in here. See, I'm using quite a bit of paint on the brush so it doesn't take a hard, heavy hand. I don't have to use a hard touch. I can just kind of deposit it. The key is letting that highlight melt down into the darker tones underneath. In here I can get a layered effect where all the dark is. I can come in front and put another, you have to see it in your mind's eye. See if I see a leading edge there, I just create another little facet. Let it fade down into the dark green. I got a lot of dark there to be able to fade that into. I control it by just using a lighter touch on the brush. Just let it pick up the dark green and just fade into shadows. I'll do the same thing over here just as a recap. See, I got a lot of dark here. I can put another leading edge there right in front. Anytime that I add that layer, this section looks further away than that one. So again, it's just a way that I can achieve more depth on this flat surface. So see, I'm just adding a few little highlights here and there where I think I want them. Leave that dark in between so you have that layered effect. I don't want to lose all the dark greens in there, just like I didn't want to lose them in the tree itself. So I'm going to switch over. Let's do this. I'm having an afterthought here, which is good. Like I said at the beginning, sometimes I have a sort of a plan, but it's not always set in stone. And sometimes I have a different plan. I'm going to take some of my Red Rose Deep, which is a very nice color. Nice brilliant shade of red, pinky red. And just because we've got so many greens in here, the complementary color to green is red. That just simply means any colors that are directly opposed on a color wheel. If you think of it as a clock dial from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock or 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock, anything directly opposed, those are complementary to each other. Red and green you'll find are directly across from each other on a color wheel. The theory is that they are visually appealing when they're used together. So having said all that mouthful, I'm thinking if I put a little touches of some red flowery things in here, it would be kind of nice. So I wiped the green out of my brush. I didn't feel I had to wash it. If you want to wash yours, that's fine. I'm going to take some of this straight Red Rose Deep with a little bit of clear. I put some clear medium with it. See how I've kind of exploded that corner, that top corner, just really opened it up. Got a lot of paint, so I can use a light touch, but you'll see if I put a few little indications of some little flowery things in there. Makes it look like some sort of plants and vegetations, and it kind of does read nicely against all the green. It's just some sort of a relief for the viewer's eye, something else to take in besides all that saturation of the greens. Now you can use any color you wanted. You could put some blues in here, some purples. You know, you want to stop short of using 15 little flower colors in here because it starts looking like a patchwork quilt. So I'm using red just because I know that those are supposedly visually interesting and appealing when used together, but you could use any color you want. I'm just showing you the techniques. Painting is all about doing it your way and using colors that you like. As I told you, my favorite color is blue, so a lot of times my paintings take on a lot of blue. That's not right or wrong, that's just me. It's an individual preference. Okay, one last little thing. I'm going to go back with my number 2 detail liner. And I'm going to take some of this blue that I had way back in the sky. I've still got some of this pulled out of my palette. I'm going to take that blue with a little bit of titanium white and a little burnt sienna. I can, by using the burnt sienna and white, it tones that blue down more of a slightly grayish blue. Something about like that. And I've got to really thin this down. So you'll see I put a lot of paint thinner with this, and I'm going to roll that right to a nice little point. Now I'm going to blow this up on this practice board. I'm not going to make it this big on my canvas. This is the one I used earlier to show you the foliage stroke. But for my birds, I simply come across and then up the other side. That's all it is. It's like a letter V, but I stretch it out and flatten it out a little bit. My paint is a little thick here on this dry board. This canvas panel is dry, so it's not flowing onto it quite as easily, so I have to get my paint extra thin. But what I do is just come over, up the other side. I'm not going to make it this big. It's not the scale for this size. I just blew it up on that practice one so you could see it a little easier. And I kind of steady my arm. I wouldn't want to put him dead center right in the middle of the canvas, but over here, off center a little bit. And if I put more than one, make them different sizes. They look like they're different distances from us. I'm going to put one more maybe over here somewhere. Turn them a slightly different angle, so they're all kind of soaring to and fro. Wasn't that fun? I think you can do this. Try out this scenery brush. You're going to love these brushes for those foliage strokes. Very easy to do that deciduous type foliage and bushes with that angled brush. Check out wilsonbickford.com. Check out all my DVDs. I'm going to show you this canvas for real now. Like I said earlier on, I was going to present this to you. I'm going to take this paper off just so you get a better sense of the actual edge without all the green painted on it like this. This will give you an idea of what this is going to look like on the wall. You'll be able to see both sides, top and bottom, front, the whole thing at eye level on the wall, which is very unique, very nice feature of this canvas. All right, thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you somewhere down the road, maybe at one of my workshops. Keep painting and have fun. Catch you next time.